Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you worked, you just couldn't move forward? You knew what needed to be done. You wanted to take action, but every decision felt heavier than it should. Every problem seemed urgent. Every day felt like survival. For a long time, I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I needed more discipline, more motivation, more confidence, but I eventually realized something that changed my life. It wasn't that I lacked motivation. It was that I was living under constant pressure. And pressure changes the way we think. Today, I want to share what I learned and how it became the foundation of the pressure reset. There was a season of my life when I felt like everything I'd spent years building was slipping through my hands. My marriage ended. I lost the place I called home. Financially, I was trying to rebuild from what felt like nothing. Every morning I woke up carrying the same question. How am I going to get through today? The pressure wasn't just around me. It had settled inside me. I couldn't think clearly. Simple decisions became overwhelming. I replayed conversations in my mind. I worried about bills. I questioned every decision I made. I wasn't really living anymore. I was surviving. Looking back, I wasn't lazy. I wasn't incapable. I was overwhelmed. And when you're overwhelmed, even the smallest decision can feel impossible. For a long time, I believed the answer was to work harder, to push through, to stay busy. But no matter how hard I worked, I couldn't outrun what was happening inside me. Then one day, I decided to stop running. I sat with myself in complete silence. No distractions, no phone, no television, just me and my thoughts. I began reflecting on everything I had been through. Instead of asking how I could fix every problem, I asked a different question. What is something I would be willing to do, no matter what my financial condition was? Something I would gladly spend my life doing, because it would genuinely help other people. That question changed everything. It didn't change my circumstances overnight. My finances didn't suddenly improve. My past didn't disappear. But something inside me shifted. For the first time in a long time, I had clarity. I realized that everything I had experienced had taught me something. Pressure changes the way we think. It clouds our judgment. It steals our focus. It convinces us that we can't move forward. But I also discovered something else. When we pause, when we reflect, when we regain clarity, we can take the next meaningful step, and one meaningful step becomes another, until little by little, we begin rebuilding our lives. That realization became my purpose. It became the foundation of everything I teach today. I call it the pressure reset, because I believe every person, no matter how much pressure they're carrying, can learn to move from pressure to clarity to action. Before we can learn how to move through pressure, we first need to understand what pressure actually does to us. Most people think pressure is the enemy. I don't. Pressure is part of life. If you're raising a family, leading a team, building a business, caring for someone you love, or simply trying to become a better version of yourself, you're going to experience pressure. The problem isn't that pressure exists. The problem is that pressure changes the way we think. When we're under pressure, everything starts to feel equally important. Our minds race from one problem to another. We try to solve everything at once. And because we're trying to carry everything, we end up moving nowhere. We call it procrastination. We call it overthinking. We call it feeling stuck. But often, we're simply overwhelmed. Pressure hasn't stopped us. It's taken away our clarity. So how do we respond? Not by pretending pressure doesn't exist. Not by waiting for life to become easier. We respond by creating space for clarity. That's exactly what happened when I sat in silence and reflected. Nothing around me changed, but something inside me did. That's why I believe reflection is so powerful. Reflection slows the noise. It helps us separate what is urgent from what is important. It reminds us that we don't have to solve everything today. We only need enough clarity to take the next meaningful step. And that's where action begins. Not giant action, not perfect action, meaningful action. One phone call, one conversation, one application, one apology, one decision. Small actions build momentum. Momentum builds confidence. And confidence isn't something we wait for. It's something we build. That's why the philosophy is so simple. Pressure, clarity, action. If you're watching this today and life feels heavy, I want you to know something. You don't have to figure out your entire future today. You don't have to carry every burden by yourself. You don't have to have every answer. What you need is enough clarity to take your next meaningful step. Maybe that step is making a difficult phone call. Maybe it's asking for help. Maybe it's forgiving yourself. Maybe it's simply sitting in silence for a few minutes and asking yourself the question that changed my life. What is something I would be willing to do no matter what my financial condition was, because I know it would help other people? You may not find the answer immediately. I didn't. But if you're willing to pause, reflect, and listen, you may discover a purpose that's been there all along, waiting beneath the noise. If this conversation resonated with you, I'd love for you to join me on this journey. Every week, I'll be sharing conversations like this about navigating life's pressures with greater clarity and purpose. And throughout the week, I'll also be sharing short daily reflections designed to help you pause, think, and move forward, one meaningful step at a time. If this video encouraged you, consider subscribing and sharing it with someone who might need it today. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What is one pressure you're facing right now? And what is one meaningful step you can take today? Leave it in the comments. I'd genuinely love to read your story. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, remember, pressure, clarity, action. Welcome to the Pressure Reset.